It's on Hulu now. A real pain. It was written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, who's also the lead actor in it. Obviously, he's been in a million things: Palm Springs, Social Network. He's Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman. Uh, but the movie is about him and his cousin, uh, Kieran Culkin. Essentially, their grandmother has died, and she was Jewish. And as a way to honor her, they fly out to Poland to kind of go on a tour throughout Poland. They go to see her house, you know. They do like the World War II tour where they talk about the Holocaust and the Nazis and whatnot. All just to kind of honor their grandmother, because again, she was Jewish. They're also Jewish, but they're not like super in tune like with their religion. Um, and it's just about their relationship and like their shared love for their grandmother, but also like the completely different experiences they had with her growing up. Because they're, cousins, not siblings, although they say that they're like brothers in the movie. Um, and it's pretty much it. It's a very like quiet slice of life kind of shorter film that's I liked a good bit. I gave it my letterbox app. I gave it like a 7 out of 10. I thought it was good. I thought it's like an interesting just like examination of like religion, but like religion specifically in families. You know how I mean most people grow up believing whatever their parents believe when it comes to like religion and stuff, and it's just kind of how your outlook on the world is influenced. And as they go on this trip, there's like a bunch of other people going on the trip as well, who they all talk about their background. Where there's one dude who like is from Africa, and he talks about living in like Rwanda and how he converted to Judaism. And then there's like an older couple who they've been Jewish their entire lives and they just retired. Um, I thought that stuff was great. I think the things they do with Kieran Culkin's character is awesome because he's kind of the like troublemaker, chaotic, unpredictable relative for Jesse Eisenberg character, whereas he's more of the quiet, goody two shoes, scared to do anything, lives in a bubble sort of a character.
You're describing a buddy cop movie
yeah.
to me right now. That's basically what you're describing.
Yeah, they do have those traits to them. But yeah, I mean the way they rub off on each other throughout the movie is very heartwarming. The way they talk about their families and stuff, it feels very real. It almost feels like a documentary, but it's not. It's a complete work of fiction. It's a narrative that's been created, but I think it's a testament to the way those characters are like written and detailed throughout the story. So yeah, I mean it's not didn't blow me away, but it's a good movie to throw. It's like 90 minutes, and again, like I said, it's available now to streaming. So I mean,
Is Jesse Eisenberg like is he doing his Jesse Eisenberg thing, or is he doing a new thing? Because I feel like I think he's a good actor. Like I like him and stuff. I just feel like he always plays the awkward fast talker in a lot of the movies that he plays.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing like the full neurotic thing like in Social Network or even like as Lex Luthor, I wouldn't say. But he is still like he definitely is like the awkward one of the two of them. I think what's more interesting is that he wrote and directed it. I think it's his first movie that he's directed, which I thought he does a very good job at. I wouldn't have guessed watching it that this was somebody who hadn't
You spend a lot of time on set. You spend a lot of time with the director. It's it's natural that you
Yeah.
learn that craft because you're around it all the time, right? It's the same thing.
100%. Yep, hard agree. And it's funny too. They have some very good moments, some very serious sequences. Yeah, I thought that the decision to make like the World War II historical tour, like the backdrop of it, was very interesting. I'd be curious as to how that hits somebody that's like Jewish or grew up practicing Judaism, because I definitely did not. But still a good like kind of, I guess you could call it like a road trip movie kind of, although they're not.
Yeah,
driving.
like a road trip buddy cop movie is what I would call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. Like I try to stay away from this type of like information just because like when he was doing promotional material for the Zack Snyder Superman movie, he did this interview that came up in my feed and he said that all journalists were pariahs. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, because I was a journalist and I was like, I'm not a pariah. Am I? Like, and I haven't really watched anything from him since, I don't think, since I heard him say that quote. Which is just as a quick little sidebar.
Who was this?
Jesse Eisenberg. He said it to a reporter on like the red
okay.
carpet of the thing. He's like, oh, I just want to expose you guys for the pariahs you are. And he was talking to an entertainment journalist. And I don't know if he was just an entertainment journalist But just as a sidebar, so I kind of been avoiding stuff, but I don't like seeing that stuff, and I don't go out of my way to look for it because I think you should separate the art from the artist, because if you don't, I feel like there's nothing left to like. If you don't do that,
I
there'll
mean,
be
yeah.
nothing left for you to enjoy, because everyone's a piece of shit in some capacity, right? Doesn't it, you know, no one's the perfect human being.
It's also worth keeping in mind that Jesse Eisenberg is a famous actor who has undoubtedly probably been photographed by TMZ eating lunch at restaurants or coming out of his house,
that whole
and he probably lumps it all in together. I mean, when he sees someone putting a mic in his face, he probably is like, yeah, you know, obviously he's wrong to lump every jones together, but that's the experience that he's responding to. So I don't,
No, absolutely, and
completely
he could have been on he could have been on or had a rough day that day. He could have caught him at a bad time. They could have asked him. He could have been coming off a really bad interview. You never know, the context is always lost and stuff like that, because he could have been having a real crap day. I've had those days, especially now in 2025, where everyone pulls out their phone if you're having a breakdown, and you're like,
Right.
well, that's going everywhere now. You know what I mean? So, but just a quick little summary. I mean, I do enjoy him. I liked him in Curse. Have you ever seen Curse?
No.
Where you've never seen the? It's a horror movie. It's I think it's Wes Craven. Wes Craven. Yeah, it's Wes Craven. Curse. It's a werewolf movie. It has a great.
The Curse.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Great cast. Great cast.
No, I haven't seen it.
This is what's good. This is what's good about our dynamic, is Donovan watches all the new shit and I know about all the old shit. That's basically it's new. It's new shit. New shit and then the old shit.
Oh, you're thinking of Cursed, the 2005 movie Cursed.
Yes.
Yeah, this was directed by Wes Craven, and written by Kevin Williamson, who also wrote Scream. So there you go. Yep.
One of the lesser known werewolf movies, unfortunately, but still a good werewolf movie.
Yeah. People did not like that movie. That shit got completely critically panned, looking at the reviews. But yeah.
The early 2000s weren't kind of movies, because it was just that pivotal point where CGI wasn't quite ready unless you were dumping millions and millions of dollars into it. So like you get a lot of awkward CGI in a lot of those movies. Like that transitional point, right, between like the 90s and the 2000s. It's like just a little too much CGI, and practical effects were just starting to get phased out.